Miss North Carolina took the crown this weekend at the Miss USA pageant, but it was a question to Miss California by blogger Perez Hilton that's grabbing all the headlines. With me now, one of the judges of Sunday night's affair and a former contestant herself, Claudia Jordan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so Perez Hilton asked this question about same-sex marriage.
Yes.
Miss California says among her beliefs is that it should be between a man and a woman. That started this firestorm.
Right.
What's your take on all this?
My take is this. Listen, she has the right to not support same-sex marriage.
Right.
As Americans, we have the right to agree or disagree. She didn't really answer his question. That was my issue with it. And being Miss California, that should be a slam dunk answer for you. You should be able to have something ready to go. Who didn't know about...
What do you mean she didn't answer the question?
Well, he asked her, with Vermont being the fourth state
Right.
to approve same-sex marriage, what do you think about other states following suit? And she said nothing about that. She didn't address that. And she also was misinformed because she said, well, in my country, it's great that we have the right to choose same-sex marriage or opposite marriage. I don't really know what, opposite sex marriage, what she meant. So she was wrong. She misspoke because only 4 states have approved that. So therefore, everyone does not have the right to marry.
I find it very interesting that she's getting blasted, and basically, people are saying she ended up losing this, and you might know better than I, as a judge, what you gave her as far as her score, because basically she stood up for her beliefs. And many people are saying, oh, you should have just, sat on the fence, not really answered the question like most pageant contestants do. Is that really the right message to send? I mean, shouldn't she stand up for what she believes in?
She should stand up for what she believes in her life, but it is a pageant, just like politics.
Right.
So
it's a contest.
How much do you want to win? I mean, in my life, I like to stand up for what I believe, but you are in a pageant. It's a different world. You've got 5'10" women with perfect teeth and bodies.
Right.
It's a beauty pageant. It's a TV show.
Which is what I find funny about all this, among the freedom of speech and all the issues that have come. It's like she was in this string bikini 4 minutes later, and now she's talking world affairs and is shaking, the fabric of our society.
Right. I mean, how much emphasis do you want to put on this? She is she's a woman in her early 20s. She wants to win a beauty pageant, and like you said, 5 minutes earlier, she's in a swimsuit, and now we really want a serious answer about this. Not to say that Miss USA contestants are not intelligent, because they totally are. I was one, case in point.
Well, and I've listened to her. She's been on every media outlet today, and she's a very well-spoken, intelligent young lady. And
she is.
She just stood for her beliefs, and she knew that cost her the contest, but that was a choice she made.
Well, I think that's being very presumptuous on her part and the part of others. Who's to say that she would have won? Who's to say that there weren't some really conservative judges on that panel that maybe put her score higher because of that question? I'm not saying we all had her as #1, because I don't think that was the case.
Did it hurt your score?
It did not.
Okay.
She was exactly, I kept her where she was, before, when they announced the top 5. It didn't affect my score at all. But I do not think she should be vilified and be made the poster child for anti-gay marriage. I really don't think so.
Yeah, well, it's kind of ridiculous. Also ridiculous is the fact that we have to mention Perez Hilton in all of this, because he could not be happier about getting his 4 minutes of fame. He was so excited that he said he ran out of the audience to go blog about this. This is what he said about Miss California immediately after the telecast. Take a look.
She gave the worst answer in pageant history. She's a dumb
All right, whether you agree with same-sex marriage, whether you agree with Miss California crossing the line there?
Well, my thing is this. Perez is very adamant about same-sex marriage, as he should be, and I feel like if you want your message to be heard, you kind of turn some people off when you say that, but he did apologize to her, which is a step in the right direction.
But could you be a bigger hypocrite, being Perez Hilton, who spends his days drawing pictures and nasty messages, and then he draws this holier-than-thou line of, how could you dare stand on your religious beliefs, and how dare you bring Jesus into this? Like, really? Well, you're on a moral high box now?
Right, well, there's a lot of that going on these days, so.
There is.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this whole affair? You've been a part of Miss USA before. Good for the pageant, bad, or indifferent?
Well, on one hand, I look at it like this. I mean, this is something that a lot of people are still upset about in California, Proposition 8. Maybe it brings it to light, and maybe it starts discussions more, and maybe we can find a better middle ground that closes the gap between the two sides, because there are a lot of people that aren't really happy about this. And I don't know, my thing is, I think that all Americans, I don't think we should have gay rights. It should be American rights, human rights. Because, at the end of the day, we should all be entitled to the same thing, especially as taxpayers.
I just find it very interesting that Perez Hilton got so upset about what Miss California said, a beauty contestant, when President Obama, who he supports very much, Vice President Biden, have said the same, if not worse.
Right.
And no one's up in arms about the President of the United States saying it, but this girl in a beauty pageant says it, and my God, you might as well tear the United States flag in half.
Well, I'm a big supporter of Barack Obama as well, and I feel like we are putting a lot of pressure and a lot of emphasis on, again, a beauty pageant contestant. She's not running for office. She is not running for office. I cannot say it enough.
Yet. She will be next week.
Never know.
Claudia, thanks so much. And I'm sure you just imagined this was going to be a quiet weekend, and it's turned into
I was going to hang out this week, but
anything
I guess not.
but. Thanks for coming in and clearing this up. I appreciate it. Maddie.
Thanks, Chris. Coming up, the latest scoop on Gossip Girl from one of the stars. And J.J. Abrams' Star Trek has a great cast. How do they feel about filling the shoes of the likes of Shatner and Nimoy? That's next on Hollywood 411.